I'm going to give you the 8 steps to success with our expert advisor home selling system so that you can take more listings and earn more money. Hey, it's Al Stasek. Before we get started with our 8-step system, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give me a follow. That way, when I put great content out that's going to help you grow your real estate business, you're not going to miss out on it. All right, let's get started. In 2011, my business partners, Jay Kinder and Mike Reese, developed the Expert Advisor Home Selling System. And I'm going to go over a few of the reasons why before we get into the 8 steps of success. Number one, we were all going up against, at least for me, big competitors in my market here in Cleveland. Agents that have been in the business longer than me, agents that were selling more homes per year than me. And I find myself going up against them in expireds and for sale by owner appointments that were being set, and people that were just calling me off of signs because they were seeing my signs a lot. And I would have to be going up against the best of the best. I mastered this system and taught all of my agents to master this system so that no matter who we were going to go up against, we would have the best chances of winning that listing. We'd get it priced right, and we wouldn't have to reduce our commission. So let's get into the 8 steps. Okay, step number 1 is articulate your value. There's a saying that goes, value unarticulated is value unappreciated. Said differently, what it means is that if you can't articulate your value to your potential seller, then you're going to have a hard time getting them to sign your listing. And even if you do get them to sign the listing, pricing it at the right price and even the right terms. Our system teaches you how to articulate your value so that you're differentiated from your competition, and it positions you to win that listing every single time. Now, step 2. Step 2 is what we call the preemptive move. It's the seller counseling interview. What most real estate agents do is they set up an appointment and kind of do a bunch of research and just go over to the person's house without asking the hard questions. The beauty in the seller counseling interview is it asks the hard questions so that we can give them the best advice, the advice that they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And we have that seller counseling interview as the second step in the process because we don't step foot inside of a listing appointment before we have that entire questionnaire completely filled out. Step number 3 is establishing superiority. And what does that mean? Well, in order to establish a superiority with your seller, they have to understand that you are the expert. By sending out a pre-listing packet before going out to the listing appointment, you'll be able to establish that superiority that you're going to need to close the listing the first time you go. Number 4, rapport. You know, it sounds obvious. Of course we have to establish rapport. But I remember a time when, I was young in the process. I was still learning. I mean, there were a lot of listing appointments that I went on that I got. But at the beginning, sometimes I stumbled and didn't get every listing. And I would go back and try to figure out, what did I do wrong? And oftentimes I skipped the part of rapport. I just didn't establish a close enough bond with the sellers. Now this system, the Expert Advisor Home Selling System, walks you through step by step so that when you walk in the door, by the time you're ready to ask for the seller's business, they're ready to sign on the dotted line because you've established that bond, you've established that rapport with the home seller, and they trust you, right? So the one thing that I had done at one of my listing appointments that I frankly just messed up on was I was telling them that, hey, I think you should paint the walls and the carpeting's needed to be washed or changed out. And I'm giving them all this advice at the listing appointment before I actually established rapport with them. So if you ever go on a listing appointment and you don't get it and you call the seller back like I used to all the time, and they say, well, we just felt more comfortable with another agent, that means you didn't establish rapport. Number 5 is authority. You can't be an expert without actually being an expert. What it means is that when we say that we're an expert advisor, you have to know your market. You have to know it from the 1,000-foot view all the way down to how many homes are on the market that's going to be competing with them. In the last 6 months, how many have actually sold? What's the number of homes per month they're competing with that is actually selling, and be able to articulate to them in a way that positions you as an expert, giving you authority. What's so important about maintaining and making sure that you achieve authority with your home sellers is so that they listen to you when it comes time to price the property. So you might be able to win the listing, but what happens when they have to listen to you? It's like going to a doctor, right? We never question when the doctor recommends a certain medication or a certain remedy to, an ailment or an illness you have. And the reason is because they have authority. We trust them. We know that they know more than us, and we never question them. And that is what we want to establish with our home sellers. Okay, number 6 is our process. The Expert Advisor home selling system identifies over 115 variables in the home selling process. And depending on how we manage those variables is going to depend on whether we get a high price or a low price for the home. And most sellers want a high price over a low price, right? Well, that's a little sneak peek in how our presentation works and how we're able to articulate that value. We articulate it through the process that we go through that differentiates ourselves from the average frustrated agent who basically just goes over and slams a yard sign in the front yard and puts you in the MLS, takes pictures with the iPhone. That's what we call an AFA, or an average frustrated agent. They don't have a process. The Expert Advisor home selling system is a process that we follow. It's a paint by number, soup to nuts, beginning to end, that's going to help your seller earn the highest possible price for their home in the shortest period of time. And we do that with number 6 by following the process. Okay, number 7, positioning. Remember, we've talked about positioning in a few of the other steps, right? So when we're positioning ourselves, we're not positioning ourselves as a salesperson. We're positioning ourselves as an expert, specifically as an expert advisor. And we never want to go in acting like we need the business more than they need it, right? In fact, I used to say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you don't want to hire someone who has to sell your house more than you have to sell your house. Because what happens is agents, they're on the real estate roller coaster. One month they have a great month, next month they have a bad month. And the bad agents have more bad months than they have good months. The problem with that is they get desperate. Sometimes they want to underprice the property to help it sell, or cut a corner, or take pictures with their iPhone, or not go through the proper steps of like staging or maybe a pre-inspection, and they skip that just to put it back on the market. Why? Because they need the money more than the sellers do. Build authority, build trust, and build rapport, and position yourself as the expert. Last but not least, number 8, deliver on the value. Said differently, deliver on the promise that you make. Now, I know that, again, sounds pretty obvious. You're probably thinking, well, duh, Al. Yeah, if you're going to tell someone you're going to do something, then you would do it. But more often than not, a lot of the newer, unexperienced AFAs, those average frustrated agents, may promise the moon and stars and not deliver on much. The Expert Advisor home selling system is designed to not only position you as the expert up front so that you can win every listing, but it's also designed so that you manage all of these variables throughout the process of marketing the home, pre-marketing the home, negotiating the best price, making sure that the closings happen on time. So this home selling system used to be offered exclusively only to Kinder Reese coaching clients who were paying them upwards of over $25,000 per year in coaching fees. Are you hungry, humble, and committed to growing and doubling your business in 2023? My business partner, Jay Kinder, and I have a few slots open in our partner program where you would actually get our Expert Advisor home selling system, the entire listing system, absolutely free. So just go to callalbie.com and schedule a 30-minute, no obligation call with me. Hey, if you like this video, hit that like button, make a comment, share it with a friend so that more agents can get value out of this content. I'll see you at the top or from the top.